What is up, you awesome kisters? It's CistReactZ, guys. Today we're reacting to an Undeniably Canon 5 Nights at Freddy's Timeline Part 3 by OOFTROOP. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to OOFTROOP, and comment down below. I don't have video and reacted to one.
Are you ready to do the hard work for you and continue the most undeniably canon FNAF timeline you'll ever hear?
I swear this man's mic has never changed, or OOFTROOP's mic's never changed.
Afton, after a long day's work and a 5-minute murder spree, decided to head back out to the dining area of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and stand around like nothing happened. However, the entire restaurant was in a panic, as one of the customers caught sight of Henry doing that blank stare thing again.
What blank stare?
It was the perfect time to finally confront Henry about the $5 he was owed.
Oh.
The corner of his eye,
Oh, I remember that!
Vicious boy jumped out
The
of the
$5 thing.
William had seen this kid before, socializing with some regulars in recent weeks.
E.T.?
He wasn't typically one to speculate what the patrons were up to, but he strongly felt something was up with this boy in particular. So, he decided to traumatize him for kicks and giggles.
Why?
William lured the child to the safe room and graced him with the sight of all the freshly stuffed missing children. The kid, being reasonably horrified at this, made a mad dash back to the ball pit as William chased after him. Once he dove
he went into the pit. I was like, why does this sound familiar?
Going any further. That ball pit was not pleasant. So
Disgusting.
William was just about ready to forfeit the chase.
Why does his neck look like that?
William realized there was something much more mysterious about this than meets the eye, so he decided to come back to it after making some preparations. The next morning, he got dressed for a potential vacation destination, staged a photo shoot to let Henry have a vague idea.
Wonder where a murderer goes for vacation.
Donned a spring Bonnie suit before plunging into the pit.
Oh. Oh wow. FNAF AR, I just seen some book stuff too.
Oswald, a boy that had taken advantage of a time-traveling ball pit in a shady pizzeria named Jeff's for the past few weeks, suddenly emerged from it in a panic to be greeted by his confused and upset father. Before his dad could give him a stern talking to, though, William Afton caught him by surprise and dragged him down the depths of the dingy pit to get himself out. William was taken aback at how easily he caught up to Oswald, but figured there
me
must
too.
be some inexplicable time.
How the hell didn't he run?
Things more convenient. With all that settled, William took Oswald out of the pizzeria, discovered what a GPS was, and took the boy home. Although he was fascinated by his surroundings, he couldn't fully take it all in. He was too focused on the bit. Once they arrived at the house,
too focused on the bit.
Oswald's mother to play along with this until further notice.
Jesus.
After Oswald fell asleep, William decided he felt like snooping in his belongings for the heck of it.
Why?
Sifting through pages of one of the boy's notebooks, he found drawings of the old Freddy's mascots accompanied by various
that was in the game.
characters he didn't recognize.
And probably in the book too.
William's curiosity of what this was supposed to look like was enough to inspire him. So, he grabbed some spare junk from the garage and began working on a new animatronic to see what would happen. Overnight, William's mess of parts somehow turned into a fully polished masterpiece.
Eleanor.
However, upon seeing he had created nothing but a conventionally attractive female character, William immediately lost interest. So, he threw her in the trash before going to sleep. The next day, Oswald decided to rescue his father before it was too late. Although William tried his best to stop the boy, Oswald managed to knock him down. William, disoriented, clumsily stumbled into a net and hung himself before Oswald and his dad safely escaped.
Oh, goodbye, William.
Poor structural integrity came to the suffocating William's rescue. The ball pit's net snapped, launched William down and out the ball pit, and he skyrocketed back into the Freddy's parking lot in 1985 as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, in 2020, local entrepreneur Michael Afton finally organized all of
his neck, bro.
Fazbear Entertainment. He wasn't quite at the point he was hoping for, though, thanks to Hurricane City Council catching that all of his documents showing their approval for different projects had forged signatures. Normally, they let this kind of thing slide, but they all had unanimous beef with Freddy's, and seemingly
Demon Fox
shut Michael's plans down. Upon the discovery of training tapes at the wreckage of its most recent disaster, it was made apparent that the company was
William Afton's handy-dandy 3-step entrepreneurship program. Henry M? Suicide plan? Holy shit.
be finished off for good. Knowing his good
Henry Emily, okay.
This one, Michael thought of a more
Makes sense.
practical solution to this problem. So, he quickly tampered with the tapes while nobody was looking.
Pardon me. But if you wouldn't mind rewatching this tape,
why does that sound just like him?
Find yourselves to be mistaken about the state of the company.
There is need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is a corporate entity.
The city council's hands were tied by this indisputable evidence, and they begrudgingly allowed Michael to continue his business ventures, as long as he didn't immediately build a giant building over half the town. So,
And he
with
did.
that, Michael decided to buy out Jeff's Pizzeria, since it was just a crudely repurposed
Claim
Freddy's
your
location.
birthright?
Using blueprints left in the office, Mike made near-perfect recreations of the classic animatronics.
Freddy reopens again.
Everything was looking up for Michael, and his efforts rewarded him with massive success. Hearing the cacophony of customers at Freddy's every day made Mike confident in the pizzeria, and now he wanted to pursue a more personal project.
Hurricane's Most
After
Wanted
scouting out
Mad
local
Scientist
scientists,
Edition?
he kidnapped Phineas Taggart to assist him in a new product for Fazbear Entertainment. Michael described his vision to Taggart.
Hang in there?
Substance that could violently clone and replace anyone it
Oh
touched.
no,
When questioned
Fazgoo.
why he wanted to create such a thing, Michael simply brushed it off as necessary trauma, much like what he had to go through
Oh,
to become a successful
Scooper.
entrepreneur.
Okay, but why do we need to make Fazgoo specifically?
It will build character.
Taggart was somehow satisfied
Sure.
with his answer, and after 26.5 minutes, he had developed the first ever sample of Fazgoo. Michael was ecstatic at the sight of this creation, but he needed to be sure it worked. Before he could dismiss Taggart, though, the scientist begged him for payment. Mike did not want to give actual money to this guy.
Is that
so
fetch?
he just tossed him a robot dog and kicked him out.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the rejected animatronic from William Afton's vacation
Hurricane
had been hauled
dump.
to the dump. After a while, a stray soul discovered it and decided to call it home.
Aw,
This
shit.
turned out to be William's ex-wife, Eleanor Schmidt, who had been kicked out of Molten Freddy during Henry Emily's final blaze of glory. The children inhabiting the animatronic mass voted that Eleanor
Why are they
deserved to be
doing
friends with
this?
them, so they quickly ejected her so she'd be stuck in this plane of existence indefinitely. After recollecting herself after all this time spent sitting in the backseat of Ennard, she gathered that this animatronic had no discernible characterization prior to her possession. So, having the full jurisdiction to present
Jane, Clara, Ballora 2, Electric Boogaloo?
By Eleanor. While adjusting to her new body, Eleanor realized that her dress had a feature she only thought was possible in her wildest dreams. It had pockets. She needed
Pockets?
to make use of these immediately,
No way.
so she quickly looked around the junkyard for something worthy
So
of
damn
notice.
tall.
Her eyes were drawn to a pile of strange discs within the trunk of an old car.
Free
so Eleanor
strange
went ahead and
discs?
grasped them. Upon taking them, however, the sound waves these discs emitted granted her with cosmic power beyond her human understanding. Eleanor, realizing she could do anything she desired,
Oh,
immediately
alright.
teleported to her old accounting firm, expecting to get right back to work. Her old boss was bewildered at the sight of her again and grimly told her she was laid off and replaced 38
Clara
years
Patrick?
ago. She did not take this news well. Filled with sudden rage, Eleanor killed her former boss.
Oh,
and was
shit.
deeply enamored by the power his agony fueled her with. She became obsessed with feeding on more of this, so she started plotting what to do next.
Not the Minecraft
Now
eating
holding a
noise.
grudge against basically any businessman at this
World
point, she targeted
domination?
every major corporation she could think of and obliterated all of the people in charge of them. Now filled with triple the infinite power she had already, Eleanor was ready to claim victory as the greatest evil the world has ever known. To her surprise, though, basically everyone on Earth that was
Villager?
attracted to these corporations was happy
World
about
peace
their
achieved?
quality of life boost, and Eleanor was hailed as a benevolent revolutionary, siphoning the agony right out of her
Yikes.
with her collective joy. Becoming the hero
With
of
her
the world
collective
was
joy.
not what Eleanor had in mind. Although she kind of enjoyed the respect, that didn't do anything for her new
Better than
career.
ever?
She needed to cause more problems. To avoid repeating the same mistake as before, she decided to keep things local. Drawing inspiration from how her ex-husband managed to discover Remnant, she warped to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to do what William did, but better. However, as she approached the front
Oh.
door, Michael caught sight of her and
E-Dog?
immediately grew suspicious.
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
Was that Freddy mask for $87?
No hard feelings about the scooping incident, right?
Me too, Michael.
I'm here to massacre all of your patrons for personal satisfaction.
How predictable.
Being
Damn.
called out on the spot like that really got under Eleanor's skin. She would have
Bro
never
didn't even
minded
care.
this fight in any other circumstance, but given she did owe him after the scooping incident, she let this personal attack slide. Eleanor needed to prove Mike wrong, though, so she decided to pull asinine stunts nobody would ever think to do.
Walmart?
After that, an unlucky child just so happened to pass by Eleanor's line of sight.
Ah, shit.
Eleanor decided this kid was the perfect first victim to truly test her power. The child, named Sarah, was minding her own business as Eleanor followed her closely.
Huh.
As Sarah approached the suspiciously plot-relevant dump, Eleanor warped
Oh,
to the
this
home
is
she found before
To Be
to
Beautiful,
use
right?
her. Sarah was incredibly transfixed with the animatronic's beauty, and excitedly carried her home to use as a display piece or something.
Why is she just...
At night, Eleanor figured this would be
Stiff.
the perfect time to activate
Wait.
the beginner display piece or something. At night, Eleanor
That's, Oh, wait. Behind my camera, there's FNAF YouTuber references in here.
figured this would be the
That's
perfect
cool.
time to activate and begin her plan. She promised Sarah that she could make
I thought
her
I noticed
dream
somebody
come true.
else too, but I didn't know if I was right.
Sarah, not
Might have seen,
understanding that she was
yeah,
perfectly
but I don't
fine
know.
the way she was, immediately agreed to this proposal. However,
Could be
Eleanor
wrong.
told her she needed to forever wear her pendant for this to work. Over the next several days, Sarah was completely transformed. She became
Don't
much
smoke,
more
it's a
confident,
joke.
much more confident in her looks, and much more paranoid that something would go wrong. And go wrong something did.
teeth.
With just one slip on a comically placed banana peel, Eleanor's pendant flew right off of Sarah's neck. To Sarah's terror, Eleanor was actually replacing her body with chunks of scrap metal, and the pendant was all that kept her hollow metallic membrane together. Sarah desperately ran back home to try and beg for Eleanor's help.
Oh no, she's deteriorating.
Welcomed her by shifting into a look-alike of the girl's original body. Had she survived, Sarah may have gleaned some sort of moral from this whole ordeal, but unfortunately she had completely fallen apart into a miserable pile of scraps. Eleanor retrieved her pendant, now charged with terrible agony once again. With this boost in power, she was ready to take on the entire population of Hurricane in increasingly strange
Oh my
and bizarre
God.
ways.
What?
Meanwhile, Phineas
Oh, that
Taylor
was the
was
sea
on a
bunny
hunt for
thing.
random junk.
What the fuck
This
is
particular
that?
night led him to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, now in a sinkhole, where William Afton and
Now in a
Andrew
sinkhole?
sat around playing Uno.
Oh.
Andrew's anger at William had settled quite a bit. All he had to do was scream into some trash, and soon enough he hadn't a clue why he was mad in the first place. Unfortunately, the trespassing Taggart wound up interrupting the
Can't
game
believe they're
and
just playing
decided to
Uno
throw a
together.
dog onto Andrew's spirit, tethering his remnant to the toy's battery. William looked up at the man in mild distress. To avoid being tackled,
Mild distress?
He simply got up and followed the man wherever he was going. On that note, Taggart arrived at his lab with his new trinkets, an Andrew-infested fetch, and William Afton. Taggart didn't initially plan on anything special for the junk he was collecting.
It's gotta suck to
Finding
be
this
put inside of a
red
dog.
animatronic zombie truly motivated him to try and do something spectacular with it all. To his amusement, said zombie was absolutely hideous, and Taggart just had to make William's unsightliness known to him.
Oh, please.
Why did that just make me jump a little bit?
Terrified of the sight of his suit being horrendously burnt and broken, William accidentally death stared his reflection.
That was like a
in his huge
SpongeBob's. Oh.
Taggart,
Yeah,
delighted
no.
by the sudden haunted gun
The explosion and the ugly frame, that was just some SpongeBob shit.
all over
I
his
love it.
soldiers, decided to take advantage of this and mash them all together into a new creation. This new animatronic not only merged the souls of William and Andrew into one body,
Oh,
but also
Stitchwraith.
introduced a third spirit into the mix. This was a child named Jake, whose death shockingly had nothing to do with Afton or Freddy's. With
Ah.
his good temperament compared to the other two, he got to pilot the animatronic, while William and Andrew were stuck being backseat drivers.
They're so
Taggart
pissed.
was delighted at his living Stitchwraith, but his joy was short-lived as William convinced Jake to slap the mad scientist. As it turned out, Afton's presence within the animatronic killed Phineas Taggart on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Jake was absolutely horrified about this, but Andrew wasn't particularly bothered about it. After surveying the damage, they deduced that they should just wait for someone else to handle it. So, they sat there and waited until a garbage collector found them. Sure enough, though, the mere touch of the Stitchwraith was all it took to kill this guy, too.
Oh shit.
Immediately, Jake realized who was responsible for this. William had already been giving off bad vibes, but now he looked blatantly proud of himself. When Jake tried to explain this, though, Andrew came to William's defense.
What's so bad about him? He cheated at Uno once.
She cheated at Uno.
Why is
It's a grave offense, more than killing 5 kids. What a bastard.
I think I'd remember being murdered.
Jake needed to solve
I'm
this
kidding, by
fast.
the way.
After some internal bickering,
Just-
he learned
just so
about
the
Andrew
comments
screaming
know.
into stuff to release his rage. With that information, Jake reasoned that putting those pieces back together could potentially refresh Andrew's memory. He'd remember why.
If that
William was a
wasn't
problem, and
obvious.
they could finally get rid of the purple parasite. After a few weeks of running around on a garbage hunt, and with only a few extra
Luigi?
casualties, the Stitchwraith headed to an abandoned factory to use its trash compactor on its collection. Suddenly, intruding on the scene was Detective Everett Larson, who had been tracking down
Everett
Stitchwraith
Larson?
this entire time to try and cope with his divorce or something. As Larson prepared to shoot it down,
What are those
Jake
eyes
suddenly
behind him?
noticed him and backflipped into the trash compactor in an act of defiance. As the Stitchwraith crumpled together with all the junk, Andrew finally remembered what he was so angry at William Afton about.
Finally.
Just about ready to throw hands with his killer once more, but he quickly gathered he may have been out of his league. After the Stitchwraith flipped into the trash heap, William's soul transferred to the garbage and began forging it all together into a new body. After causing a chain reaction with the old machinery, William blew up the factory and used its debris to his advantage,
Oh.
growing into a 15-foot tall monstrosity.
What the
Then,
fuck?
Making the decision to cut his losses, Andrew quietly made a run for it while he still
Oh,
could.
okay.
Larson, shocked at how dramatically the situation escalated, spent this valuable
Bro, what
time
are those
throwing
eyes
insults at
following
the giant
him?
trash rabbit. William wasn't fazed by this, though, and simply proclaimed,
Did somebody say
Okay.
agony?
Get out of here. Oh, that's who's been following him.
After After learning of the Afton Amalgamation's existence, she quickly launched herself into it to try and absorb its power. This caused Afton to become far more violent, and Larson was nearly killed.
What the fuck is even happening in the books now that I'm just hearing this story about it?
Voice coming from his bag. It was the mask of the puppet, or at least his delirious mind figured it must have been. Nonetheless, he
Does that say Charlie was here on the mask?
The impact caused him to fall apart like a house of cards.
Oh.
As Afton sank into the lake near the wreckage, he noticed Eleanor escaping his collapsing
There's gotta be
body,
symbolism with the lake.
recognized her instantly. Not only was she his abandoned creation from his time travel vacation, he felt the spite emanating from her and knew it could be only one person. The woman who he once probably loved, then
Why is she
definitely
purple
hated,
too?
managed to become far more than he ever was. And so, he looked at her in bittersweet longing before everything faded to black. William Afton was dead. Now that
Finally.
the Amalgamation was destroyed, the Stitchwraith
She just
ran
walked
to
out of there.
his aid. Jake was all on his own now, and he wasn't going to let anyone else die. So, he whacked the detective with his battery, and that got rid of the lingering agony left behind by Afton. Now that Larson was a little less half-dead than before, he immediately tried to fight Eleanor. She wasn't impressed by his endeavor, and she dragged him into a highlight reel inside her mind.
Your investigations, your hunt for the Stitchwraith, your failed marriage.
Oof.
Who do you think?
Why is he bending over and crying like that?
Bad luck, I guess.
Oh, I thought I was being more obvious. Sorry. Anyway, it was me all along. You didn't know it, Larson, but I was always there.
What the fuck? Every story she's there? Oh my god, she's the damn cat? Oh.
Larson, horrified by the truth revealed to him by this master of disguise, immediately shot Eleanor 4 times in a row.
Oh.
This managed to disorient her enough.
He shot her ass into 4 different dimensions. The main one, the 8-bit one, and every single other
Immediately
one.
shot Eleanor 4 times in a row.
He shot her
This
ass
managed
back to
disorient
baby.
her enough
Wow.
To move to another memory, where Larson then grabbed a baseball bat and bashed her head off. This went
Oh.
on in the loop for a while, weakening
Oh.
Eleanor, but also not accomplishing too much otherwise. From an outsider's perspective, Larson and Eleanor just stayed in one place silently. The Stitchwraith was bored of waiting, so Jake decided.
This reminds me of that one episode of
to
Naruto.
with Eleanor without Afton infecting his touch. This allowed the Stitchwraith to peer into her memories. While Larson and Eleanor were still having their grand battle, Jake discovered Eleanor's
With
worst.
baseball bats?
Billy D. Williams was in this one. Oops. Spoilers.
Damn.
Confused by what the problem here was, but nonetheless
He said,
understood,
"Oops,
the Stitchwraith found Eleanor
spoilers."
and launched her into the memory to be stuck forever. Now that Jake had saved the planet from Eleanor's wrath, he felt fulfilled in his purpose. With that, he moved on from this world, and the Stitchwraith was
Thank
no
God.
more. Larson, now sitting alone in the wreckage of a
Poor
factory
guy.
with 2 lifeless animatronics in front of him, deliberated what to do now. He knew this was going to cause a big stink
Just
for the
poor
police
guy.
department if he didn't have a believable explanation on hand. So he just tossed Eleanor and the Stitchwraith's bodies into the ball pit at Freddy's and blamed their hijinks on Fazbear Entertainment. Michael Afton, now facing immense backlash for reviving the company,
Rotten
had to
entrepreneur
find a way to save
exposed.
its reputation before it collapsed all over again. He checked his plans for anything that could help.
Video game cover-up
There
lawsuit?
was a perfect solution. All Mike had to do was cover up these
Help
allegations
wanted?
by touting them as fictional events from a video game series. After interrogating his board of directors to see if any of them knew how to make a game, one of them spoke up and said they knew of someone that could. This led Michael to a failed indie developer with a desolate hope for success.
Oh,
Steve
shit.
Snodgrass.
Oh,
Steve's
okay.
only claim to fame was the critically panned promotional title for El Chips, but Mike could feel the potential.
Because I was about to say, didn't Scott
Steve
actually
did
work
what
at
he
like a
started, and
a
Michael
convenience
gave him
store
credit.
before he was making
Steve,
FNAF?
ecstatic
Like I remember reading that.
Make appropriate use of his uncanny modeling style. Quickly whipped
Wait,
up
aren't
a
those
game
Scott's
called
glasses on that
Freddy.
Snodgrass
It was
person?
pretty simple, but Michael thought it was a perfect starting point. After Steve posted
Five
the
Nights
game
at
to the web,
Freddy's.
but it was totally unauthorized.
Welcome to your new summer job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where kids and parents alike come for entertainment and food. The main attraction is Freddy Fazbear, of course, and his 2 friends, Pickle and Arnold, as pictured. Bro, OOFTROOP is fucking funny, bro. They are animatronic robots programmed to please the crowds. Reviews, I don't know yet. Release date August 8th, 2023. Developer Steve Snodgrass at Snod Games, not affiliated with Fazbear Entertainment. I swear, please don't sue Steve.
It immediately skyrocketed in popularity. People were playing
99999.
most importantly,
Oh shit,
most
Greg's
of the
Kenshin and Mark.
hidden lore, so
Matt?
to confuse historical fact from modern fiction.
What the fuck?
Michael needed Steve to make a sequel, fast.
Make
Steve
more.
Then churned out 2 more in only a couple days to
Oh, wow.
resounding success. Mike realized quickly, though, that these
Wait.
games weren't 2 more in only a couple.
2 Freddys for the price of slightly more than 1. Kind of a bargain. Michael Jordan. William, the Whack Pack.
Couple days to resounding success. Mike realized quickly, though, that these games were
What the
actually
fuck?
helping with the current controversy
Menace is
that
found
came
at
with
Freddy's.
Whatever
Afton to
skeletons were
blame.
once in Henry's closet were of no concern to him. So Mike decided to assassinate Steve Snodgrass and cover up his death with a fan-made spin-off title.
House of the Bear. To Jacques.
Commissioned an anthology
Nixon.
book series to spoof recent incidents.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Fredbear's Family Fables. Eleanor Strikes Back. Michael Afton.
With Eleanor and the Stitchwraith. Despite the fact everyone knew about these public menaces,
Bunker Boy. Baron Von Bear. Blackbird 2. Poland Pork. Eleanor Strikes Back.
the prospect of reading
What the
about
fuck
them
is
made the
Bunker
public
Boy?
immediately stop caring. All Michael needed to do now was to tie it all back together by framing Steve Snodgrass.
Was that Blue's Clues? Is that fucking Blue's Clues? What the fuck?
Caring. All Michael needed to do now was to tie it all back together by framing Steve Snodgrass.
The Life and Times of Toy Freddy. Plushies Take Manhattan. Deface Steve. Wii U. 2+2. Fucking FNAF. Candy in the Crowd. Cheese Trap.
This is some random lunatic trying to deface his brand. So he
Freddy math game?
Silver Parasol to make a virtual
Silver
reality that
Parasol.
documented all of the rumors of Fazbear Entertainment as nothing more than fiction. Development was pretty standard, all things considered. The studio
Oh my
focused
God,
on
Steel
remaking
Wool.
all 3 of the original FNAF games in VR.
Nerf Music Box. What were they thinking? Base Springtrap off of that hit action figure. No Wizards. They scare Dale. Let me make coffee in FNAF 3 Snooze Fest. Oh, that's the FNAF 3 little Easter egg.
And then Michael personally provided.
Oh wait,
them
I think they're all Easter eggs on the screen. Yeah, that's the Foxy shit.
all 3 of the original
And then that's the Freddy. Oh wow, yeah.
FNAF games
Good
in
one.
VR. And then Michael personally provided them with scripted
Oh my God, the
life
handbook.
experiences to use as
Ferdinand,
inspiration for new
Math
levels.
Man.
Alongside this, he also tossed them various circuit boards, notably from Scraptrap and some old endoskeleton hardware. He told the developers that
Mimic
it would make the
1
characters
magic
perform
pathfinding
pathfinding
feature?
more authentically in-game, to which everyone collectively told him
K-pop?
that's how it works. After some gentle negotiation,
Oh, shit.
Michael convinced the team to scan the circuit boards anyway.
79%?
This didn't seem to really accomplish
That was
anything
pointless.
initially, but
Well, that's the
soon
pig
something
guy.
awakened within the VR game that nobody yet knew about.
The
William
storyteller?
Afton, against all odds, came back from complete
Oh, never mind.
eradication again due to lingering remnant on Scraptrap circuit
I thought that was the
boards
white
possessed by a
tiger
program
for some
called
reason.
Mimic 1. Observing the virtual space around
Models.
William started digging through files to obtain a more tangible form. To his disappointment, he wasn't all too pleased with any of the Spring-Bonnie or Springtrap models available to him. So, instead, William used the power of 3D modeling software to manifest a digital recreation of his wonderful pajamas. To save his new form, he overwrote an unused Springtrap model named Glitchtrap.
Overwrite
and
existing
set it down
files.
perfectly for his new environment. He was considering the name
Malhair.
but he had no idea how to rename
Malhair
the
does kinda
files,
go
so
off.
he just settled with what he had. As production continued
Oh.
and beta tests began, Glitchtrap encountered Jeremy Fitzgerald II, the security guard Balloon Boy chewed on once. Now working as a QA tester, Jeremy tried to write off Glitchtrap as nothing more than a bug. As time went on, though, he wound up being
What is in that
fascinated by the
closet?
virtual rabbit rattling off nitpicks about the game's
Oh,
character
it's gone.
models and level maps. Jeremy agreed that this was a problem.
Okay,
and
that was a
he promised
puppet.
Glitchtrap that he'd set things right and make the VR game as accurate as he could. The other developers, however, felt insulted by the sudden onslaught of criticism. Jeremy
Gabriella.
provided. None of it seemed rational or helpful.
Game-breaking
so they all
problems.
conspired.
Bonnie is blue, should be purple. Nightmare Chamber is always routinely sanitized. Clean it up and fix the hole. Foxy doesn't have enough levels. He's the best one. There should be more gore and blood. Ferdinand should be yellow, not brown.
To get rid of him. After finding a guillotine paper cutter, the Silver Parasol development team cut off Jeremy's face and made it look like he did it in a fit of hysteria. Jeremy didn't really
Oh,
appreciate
shit.
this, so he finally quit his job as a QA tester and sued Silver Parasol for cutting off his face. With his position now open, a successor dubiously named Tape Girl took his place.
Tape Girl.
Tape Girl, much like Jeremy, was also unusual.
Is literally a fucking tape.
History of Fazbear
Okay.
Entertainment. Her brother, Phone Dude, had sucked her into a passionate interest
Phone
in the
Dude.
company while he constructed Fazbear.
He has a Zelda
Now
shirt,
that
I
he had
love
gone
it.
Missing, she decided to pick up his slack and participate in the company's current renaissance.
Why is the cupcake melted?
Tape Girl recognized her as one of Phone Guy's children and reasoned that she wasn't to be trusted. He had been burned by both her father and brother already,
neck.
and he wasn't going to let that happen again. So, Glitchtrap went out of his way to freak her out as much as possible while she tried to beta test the game. Becoming terrified of this anomaly, and discovering that Silver Parasol was shutting down...
Hey chat, why are we getting sued? Remember
she hastily
Jeremy?
began to
No,
report
LMAO.
documents documenting Glitchtrap's presence, and other details that could help whatever QA tester replaced her. As she continued attempting to delete the anomaly from the game, Glitchtrap devised a plan to attach
Top
himself
secret
to a
tapes
virtual
do
tape
not
in order
touch.
to prevent her from killing him. By the time she figured this out, it was too late. So she hid the audio files across the game as well as she could before development was switched over. Glitchtrap wasn't going to let Tape Girl go that easy though, so on her last day on the job, he created a brand new level meant just for her. As Tape Girl followed his bunny trail, she soon realized that he was the one
Okay, sorry. Recording ended. That was weird.
responsible for the murders that plagued Freddy.
I always come back. It's me, free pizza.
Is
Is this motherfucker hitting the gritty, bro?
Within the suit of Freddy Fazbear,
God damn it.
Glitchtrap celebrated her digital demise. Now that
Yikes.
Silver Parasol was no longer developing the Fazbear virtual experience, Michael wiped all known traces of the company and its employees from existence. The
Why is he always
studio was
burning
run
shit
directly by
and blowing
Fazbear
stuff
Entertainment,
up?
And they sent out some help wanted ads to get fresh beta testers. Soon enough, a new hire caught wind of the job opportunity and applied as soon as possible.
Mr.
This
Burton
applicant was a
canceled?
passionate Five Nights at Freddy's fan,
Vanessa.
Vanessa Shelley. Vanessa was extremely excited
Apply
to get
here.
the chance to test a brand new FNAF game.
Looks like the
She
Sit and
wasn't
Survive
confident that
game.
The new studio would uphold the franchise's integrity
Game
with the
developing
Snodgrass
for
trilogy,
dummies.
But she chose to be optimistic. After putting on the headset for the first time, Vanessa excitedly combed through the entire game with almost nothing but enthusiasm. Experiencing her favorite series in total immersion was a feeling like no other, and she was
That game
having
was
a
scary
blast.
with Baby in the
She was a
closet.
little disappointed that most of the
Let's
lore
party.
elements were seemingly gutted here, but that was a small price to pay compared to everything else. As she continued, though, she noticed some strange glitches throughout the various levels. Maybe this was some kind of new storyline she was unraveling. After discovering a hidden area within the game, Vanessa was able to piece together Tape Girl's recordings and discover the truth. To her horror, this wasn't just new lore, this was real. Upon this realization, Vanessa felt a shiver down her spine as she turned around to see a certain someone behind her.
Holy shit! That art goes crazy.
Shake it, girly pop! What?
What the fuck?
Is this better?
After Vanessa took a
British!
short break to recover from that
Wait,
storm, she hesitantly
why am I
put her
not
headset
questioning why the
on
mimic is
and
there?
testing the game.
I'm
As
just
she
so
played,
used to this
she
shit right now.
became more tangible
That's the
as she
second
found
time
more
I've seen
Tape Girl's
Squidward
messages.
too.
Vanessa was uneasy, but she decided that maybe it would be best to actually talk to the anomaly. Glitchtrap stood before her in relative silence, so she took this as a cue to speak. What started with conversation of her
Dark
experience
rooms.
testing the game led to her entire interpretation of the FNAF timeline.
The Shelley
including
files.
Every ounce of external media she was aware of.
And then when Springtrap found him, he did a spot-on impression of the stepdad, and then later stuffed him into an oven in Fazbear's Frights. And I think the actual place burned down, but it didn't in FNAF 3.
Who on
Maybe it
earth
was
is
still on the
Hudson?
Glitchtrap hadn't heard enough.
Who
Whatever
on
nonsense
earth is
Vanessa was
Hudson?
recounting was absolutely nothing like what actually happened. So he caught her up to speed on the actual events of his life, from Ferdinand's creation to Afton's Amalgamation eradication. Vanessa was over the moon. She never could have anticipated getting such a comprehensive understanding of all of Freddy's history, and she was shocked at how different the real answers were compared to the storyline the FNAF games portrayed.
My
At this
god,
point,
Jackie.
She decided she wanted to help Glitchtrap somehow escape the game. So, like any rational person, Vanessa decided to let Glitchtrap merge with her mind. Removing her headset, Vanessa now saw William by her side in the real world.
Hey, sup, man?
No, I think the other voice was better, actually.
You are so picky.
Afton, now inhabiting Vanessa's brain, wasn't
Why is he
keen
so
on being
sad?
confined in someone else's body again, so he begged her to help him find a new body for himself. After thinking through everything he had told her, Vanessa decided that she'd make her own personalized rabbit suit to keep William quiet while they tried to get him back into a physical form. Because that'd take a while, however, she simply crafted a mask in time for the Halloween festival Freddy's was putting together. Speaking of which, Michael Afton was preparing something big. He had been postponing his plans to make an animatronic father figure long enough, and it was time to finally set things in motion.
Father
He needed a perfect
replacement
vessel,
plan?
something his own father created. After some consideration, Michael took a visit to the graveyard and dug up
Fredbear,
the original
forgettable.
body. He was going to revive the animatronic and
Oh
make him
shit,
into the perfect
Dreadbear?
pop bear. Unsure of how to go about reviving an artificial intelligence,
What did that say?
figured that obscene
Public
master
necromancy
electricity would be
chamber?
the trick. So
Free on
he stitched
Tuesdays.
Fredbear back together and ran some tests to try and bring him back to life. And it was a success. Michael had let time slip right past him, though. The Fazbear Fall Fest was only in a few days, and he had yet to make the perfect attraction for it. All at once, it dawned on him that he could present the revived animatronic as Dreadbear
Meet
and so he could
Dreadbear.
fix him up properly. Sure enough, this worked perfectly, and at long last, Fredbear was the star of the show for the first time in decades. While attending the festival, Vanessa ruminated on her recent life choices. As she half-heartedly participated in the
Get Springtrap with balls.
William finally learned that Michael was behind all of this. For the first time in his unnaturally prolonged existence, he finally felt somewhat proud of his son. Before he could stew over
great.
this new emotion, though, Vanessa accidentally bumped right into the entrepreneur. Vanessa, utterly embarrassed, began to profusely apologize, to which Mike just blankly stared at her, waiting for her to go away. This led to
Ouch.
Vanessa rambling once more about her obsession with his company, only this time
Updated
she had
edition.
all of William's knowledge at her disposal. Michael, initially uninterested, was taken aback by
Henry's
Vanessa's
secret
unacceptable
son.
understanding of Fazbear Entertainment's history. After evaluating whether or not to dispose of her, he determined
Holy
she
shit.
would be useful and gave her a new job with special attention. Vanessa was now part of a security team for a new project Mike was working on, the Fazbear Funtime Service. This was a special delivery service where Fazbear Entertainment mass-produced replicas of some of the most iconic characters from the business's legacy and rented them out for criminally high prices.
99
Vanessa
Pursuit.
was fascinated by this concept, and William realized this would be the perfect way to get a recreation of his favorite fursuit. So, on Vanessa's first day as security, she hacked into the system with her gamer skills and ordered production of Springtrap animatronics. By the time higher-ups noticed something unusual about this, they all shrugged it off since Springtrap was probably profitable enough to rent out. William was thrilled that his body had been perfectly remade, but he got cold feet once he realized Fazbear
He's
Entertainment was
back.
producing so much of him. He didn't want to just be another Springtrap in the crowd, he wanted to be in the spotlight. Vanessa was confused about him changing his mind, though, and they began to bicker about the integrity of a unique Springtrap. Getting fed up with this, Vanessa tried banging her head against one of the replicas to attempt to transfer.
Ouch.
This ended up knocking her out, giving William free rein to puppet her body. Knowing this could come in handy for future schemes, he quickly searched how to induce compliance in human subjects to ensure he could do this whenever it benefited him. This, alongside some other
Vanessa
concerning
A. Shelley,
questions,
security
alerted
team.
the IT department immediately. Unfortunately, the only guy who cared to contact Vanessa about it, Lewis, was more interested in coffee than figuring out why she wanted to chop people in half. By
Yeah.
the time Vanessa came to, she didn't have any recollection of the stunts William was pulling, and simply resumed her normal work activity. Anytime William took control again, though, Lewis would shoot another email wondering why Vanessa wasn't taking the hint. This led to a lot of one-sided
Brad.
conversation and coffee invitations, but outside of that, the Funtime service...
Frappuccino better.
People
Fake
were
coffee
renting
fan
animatronics
blocked.
constantly, and the funds gained from this inspired Michael to start offering additional characters and quirky variants of the existing ones. There was only one problem. Aside from the occasional fatality from letting infamously killer animatronics out in public, delivery trucks for both animatronics and pizza started being attacked by bears.
What the
To
fuck?
Michael's surprise, bears absolutely adored the taste of pizza and despised Fazbear animatronics. This was all thanks to their overlord, Ferdinand von Bernard. Although artificial, Ferdinand's constant power allowed him to integrate perfectly into bear society. His appearance indicated to bears across the world that he was something special for their kind, and he provided them all with wisdom far beyond
Awesome
their
survival
years.
gear and
The most
tips.
important thing Ferdinand taught them, however, was to hold a grudge against Fazbear Entertainment. Being left behind and replaced by his creators.
Welcome
was
to
one thing,
Hurricane,
but his
Utah.
arch nemesis, Michael, becoming CEO of the company was another. Michael was losing at least 5 delivery drivers a day from these bear attacks.
Lawsuit.
And paying off the lawsuits from this was the final straw. So he met with Vanessa in private and brought up her previous security breach on the Fazbear Funtime service. She was immediately terrified that she'd get fired, but on the contrary, Michael explained that he needed her to covertly program an order for war. After further instruction, Vanessa hacked into the Funtime service yet again to order the animatronics to attack all of bearkind. With just a push of a button, the Great Bear War began.
Alright.
Animatronic and Ursine fiercely clashed against each other within moments.
What the fuck? FNAF AR skins just fighting bears. This was not on the FNAF bingo card this year.
It was Trevor the cashier and Harold the janitor. Otherwise,
Harold the janitor.
Freddy and Rick Fazbosks. Both of them had just been fired from their former jobs at Freddy's, and Michael had completely gutted their pension. Rick Fazbear tortured one patron for cheating at Pack and Pal, and that managed to cross the line apparently. Shadow Freddy didn't want to work at Freddy's without his partner, so Mike fired him too just so he couldn't formally.
Damn.
With nothing to lose, Shadow Freddy and Rick Fazbear tried to assist the war effort to rebel against Michael. Sadly, as Shadow Freddy attempted to conga line a troop of bears,
Why is he melted?
by a barrage of fireworks. As Shadow Freddy's dark remnants scattered across
Playing the Eagle is crazy.
His rage grew so powerful that he managed to shut down the Funtime Services servers and end the bloodshed. This was too little too late, sadly, and he set off on a hopeless quest to recollect his partner and bring him back. Ferdinand, discovering Mike had nearly obliterated his people, knew he had to do something to fix this.
I'm just...
After phasing through realities to
okay.
produce the perfect
Yep,
plan,
I'm just
Ferdinand understood
confused.
what needed to be done. For safekeeping, Ferdinand warped all
This motherfucker went to FNAF World. Holy shit.
Waited for the
Paradise.
in his favor. Now that bears were seemingly extinct, Michael had no real threat to his business.
Heroic CEO
Sorunort
sacrificed to stop
possessed
bear
the
invasion.
attention of every major company in the country.
Every company
All
offers
that
up
share
ownership.
From Eleanor's massacre allowed for Mike to buy all of them out for cheap, and Fazbear Entertainment became a mega corporation within the blink of an eye.
Fazplex Towers, Freddy Water Company.
Michael to build the mega pizzaplex of his dreams, and Hurricane City Council couldn't say no this time. Michael was proud of Vanessa for her cooperation, and despite her not really being qualified for any promotion, he ordered his board of directors to transfer her to the head of security at the pizzaplex once construction was complete. It would take time for this project to finish, but Michael was
Here comes
absolutely
security
certain it would be
breach.
nothing short of his magnum opus. For now, he was left to contemplate his two personal projects. Dreadbear had been a great novelty for the Fall Fest, but his body's disrepair was not sustainable for a long-term business. So, Mike harvested Dreadbear's AI. to
Spring
use
Bonnie
for the
AI,
animatronic,
Fredbear AI.
a glam rock reimagining of Freddy Fazbear.
Uh-oh.
All Mike needed now was to finally use his Fazgoo for its true purpose. With confirmation from shady science teachers across the country that the substance worked, Mike was confident his most unattainable dream would come to fruition. Now, exploring every nook and cranny of Hurricane, he searched for the remnant he had coughed up after the pizza place fire in order to bring his younger brother back. Soon after vaporizing
shit.
with a flashlight, Michael finally
With a
found what he was
flashlight?
looking for. A chaotic energy emanated from the newest remnant deposit he discovered, and he knew he found him. Capturing the remnant and returning home, Michael guided the child's soul to the Fazgoo and watched as the boy was finally put back together. Now that his brother actually existed again, the fog lifted. After all this time, Michael could finally remember the child's name. Gregory Afton.
God damn it. Gregory Afton.
I hope that suffices.
Holy shit.
Rolling in much faster than this one, and I've got to be prepared. Wait, finale?
Finale? Oh nah.
Yep, nothing else. No secret up my sleeve. It all ends with... you'll see. Catch you next time.
Oh, he disappeared. I'm glad there's a finale for this though. Wow. Great job to everybody associated in making the video. Oh, I think I finally caught up. All right. That was an Undeniably Canon Five Nights at Freddy's Timeline Part 3. If you guys want to see more FNAF on the channel, hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe for more to become a Kister. Today, we're just gonna go to this because another video just started. And make sure you guys go check out my Sonic Shadow Generations videos and my Life is Strange double exposure gameplay, and hit the like button on it if you guys want more gameplays on the channel. See y'all later.